If you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start investing, here is the honest truth. There is no perfect moment, only a simple plan you can trust enough to repeat. Confidence doesn't come before you begin. It arrives after your money has done the same small, boring things for a few months in a row. This episode is your blueprint. No jargon, no guru tricks, just a calm way to turn paychecks into ownership on a schedule so you can stop overthinking and start compounding while you live the rest of your life. Let's start by redefining what investing with confidence actually means. It does not mean predicting markets, spotting the next winner, or developing iron nerves. It means 3 practical conditions are true at the same time. First, your bills and short-term needs are handled, so you never have to sell investments to survive a Tuesday. Second, your investment choices are simple enough to run while you're tired. Third, decisions are made on a calendar, not on a feeling. When those 3 are in place, you stop asking, "Is now a good time?" and start asking, "Did I follow my plan this Friday?" That shift is when confidence turns from a mood into a method. Before a single dollar gets invested, design the week that makes investing inevitable. Route all income into a quiet staging account with no card attached. On dates you won't forget, 4 automatic moves happen. On payday, the first transfer pays your future. Money leaves for savings and for investments before lifestyle hears the news. In the first week of the month, fixed bills draft from a bills-only account so late disappears. The day after payday, small trickles fill sinking funds for predictable irregular costs: car service, co-pays, gifts, licenses, school events, and the carnival called December. Every Friday, a weekly card refills to carry groceries in ordinary life so drift can't last more than 6 days. Investing becomes the default, not the decision. You aren't chasing willpower, you are renting a calendar. With rails in place, build the sleep fund. People call it an emergency fund. I prefer the name that describes what it buys. Start with 1 month of essentials as quickly as you can, then grow toward 3 to 6 months as your responsibilities grow or your income gets spikier. The point is simple: a cushion keeps you from becoming a forced seller during storms. Forced selling is how good plans die. A sleep fund is how they survive long enough to work. Debt belongs in the plan without shame. Treat it like a calendar problem, not a character problem. Put every minimum payment on autopay so late vanishes. Choose one target balance and send a steady, survivable extra every payday until it dies. If math motivates you, attack the highest APR. If momentum motivates you, kill the smallest balance first and roll the freed payment forward. You do not have to be debt-free to invest. You do need a structure that converts chaos into progress while your investing contributions continue on schedule, even if they're tiny at first. Now the part everyone waits for: what to buy. A beginner's edge is not stock picking or market timing. It's avoiding complexity and keeping costs microscopic. The simplest durable core for most people is boring on purpose: broad, low-cost stock index funds that own tiny pieces of thousands of companies across sectors and borders, paired with a bond sleeve you can sleep with. Stocks are your growth engine, bonds are your balance. Put them together in proportions that match your stomach and your timeline, write down your rules, and automate contributions on payday. That's it. You don't need to become interesting at dinner parties to become wealthy on paper. Confidence comes from knowing why you own what you own. Stocks exist to outpace inflation and grow your purchasing power. Over long stretches, they do that by tapping the productivity of businesses that raise prices, sell more, and innovate. Bonds exist to steady the ride and fund your plan during storms so you don't have to sell stocks at the worst moments. Cash exists to pay bills and to give you refusal power when a bad week arrives. Each has a job. When you ask an asset to do a job it wasn't hired for, like asking cash to build wealth for decades, you feel anxious because the plan is wrong, not because you are. Global diversification is the adult version of optimism. You don't have to guess which country or sector will lead over the next decade. You can own the whole theater and let the cast change. A single global stock fund does that job cheaply. If your market offers separate funds for domestic and international, own both in a simple ratio you can explain. Put the why on a single page you'll read during storms. The page should say what you own, how much you add on payday, when you rebalance, choose 2 dates a year and allow a small drift band, what you do with employer stock, sell as it vests by rule, keep any single name tiny, and what you do when prices fall by a third. Keep contributing. Rebalance once, go for a walk. That paper is not decoration. It's the seatbelt your future self will be grateful for when headlines shout. Choosing an allocation is more about sleeping than squeezing. A common starting point for long horizons is mostly stocks with a smaller bond sleeve, something like 80-20 or 70-30. If market drops make you queasy, tilt toward more bonds. If you're saving for something within 5 years, tilt far more to bonds and cash. The right mix is not the one that wins a backtest. It's the one you can hold through a storm without changing at the worst moment. Confidence is humility about your own stomach. Pick a brokerage you understand. You want clean interfaces, low costs, and protections like SIPC coverage in the US or the equivalent in your country. Learn 3 things and you'll be miles ahead of most beginners. Learn how to set automatic contributions on payday. Learn how to place a limit order instead of a market order when you make a one-off purchase so you control your entry price. Learn how to rebalance on dates, not vibes, by moving money between your stock and bond funds to nudge your allocation back to target within a small tolerance. Everything else is optional. Fees and taxes are the leak you control entirely. A 1% annual fee sounds small. Over decades, it can eat a quarter or more of your ending wealth. Favor funds with expense ratios measured in basis points, not full percentages. Keep trading low because every trade invites taxes and errors. Place assets where their tax behavior belongs. Generally, stock index funds in taxable accounts, they're tax efficient, and less efficient interest-heavy assets inside tax-advantaged accounts when possible. Capture employer matches before you buy anything with Accord. Treat taxes as a year-long design problem, not a jump scare in April. Quiet, low-cost portfolios compound like patience. If your employer pays you with stock or offers an employee stock purchase plan, map it on one page. Vesting schedules, withholding, your rule to sell on vest, your maximum position size for any single name, write these down now, not later. Single company risk sneaks up on people who confuse loyalty with diversification. Your career is already concentrated in that one logo. Your portfolio doesn't have to be. All of this is useless if your attention is rented to the highest bidder. Tired brains buy relief at surge pricing and sell assets in storms. Move your phone charger out of the bedroom so you begin the day with water, sunlight, and a 2-minute check that the transfers ran. Unsubscribe from brand emails you never asked for. Move shopping apps 2 screens deep. Put wants in a cooling off queue, 24 hours for small items, 30 days for toys, and write the date next to each desire. Half will evaporate. The rest will improve. A used version, a better tool, or the realization that you wanted the feeling, not the object. Attention is a budget. Guard it and your financial plan becomes easier to keep than to break. Beginner confidence is fragile during your first market drop. You don't beat fear with bravado, you beat it with process. Write down exactly what you will do when screens turn red. Keep contributing on payday. Rebalance on my birthday and half birthday if my allocation drifts more than 5 points. Take a walk. That's it. If you're tempted to sell because it feels responsible, remember that in markets, the responsible feeling often pays the irresponsible result. Selling in a panic locks in what might have been temporary. Buying on a schedule turns temporary into opportunity. Dollar cost averaging is your ally. Contributing the same amount on each payday means you buy more shares when prices are low and fewer when prices are high, without having to think about it. It's not magic, it's a way to keep showing up. The market's long-term return belongs to people who remained invested for the whole story, not the people who told the cleverest stories about why today is special. If you crave a little fun, create a tiny sandbox separate from your core. Size it so a 0 would be tuition, not rent. Want to pick a stock because you love the business? Put it in the sandbox. Want to learn options the hard way? Sandbox. The rule that keeps your confidence intact is simple. Core first and automatic. Experiment later and small. Curiosity is welcome. Recklessness is not required. A few rooms will make this real. A 25-year-old teacher is drowning in advice. She installs Rails so payday pays her future first, builds a 1-month sleep fund, and sets a weekly refill for groceries. She opens a low-cost global stock index fund and a bond fund, chooses 80-20 because she's saving for decades, and writes a 1-page policy. She contributes on every paycheck and rebalances on her birthday and half birthday. When her district offers a match, she captures it before she buys anything with Accord. When a headline screams, she reads her paper and goes for a walk. A year later, she's not a wizard. She's a person with a portfolio that did the same thing 52 times. A 32-year-old nurse with rotating shifts makes good money but spends it unevenly. She pays herself a safe Friday number from a buffer so her household runs like a salary. She automates tiny contributions every Friday into her funds. She keeps 2 default 10-minute dinners and a freezer whiteboard so delivery apps stop eating her raises. She writes "never miss twice" on a sticky note above her desk. When a week goes sideways, she resumes the plan on payday. Her confidence grows from evidence, not speeches. A 38-year-old engineer receives restricted stock. He writes a rule to sell on vest, skims taxes immediately, puts the remainder into his boring core, and trims any concentrated position over quarters until a halving would sting, not maim. He sets his default order type to limit, avoids trading at the open or the last 5 minutes, and refuses to touch the account during headlines. He creates a tiny sandbox for a single stock he admires and never lets it exceed a set percentage of the total. Confidence here is restraint, not bravado. A self-employed designer has spiky income. She routes all invoices into staging, skims taxes, builds a business buffer, and pays herself the same number every Friday. Her household investments leave on that schedule. She refuses private deals that demand unpredictable capital calls, borrows specialized tools instead of buying just in case, and keeps a trunk kit so one missing part stops becoming one unpaid day. She isn't trying to win the market, she's trying to never become a forced feller. Confidence grows because the household beats steady while the business breathes. Account types matter, but they're not the main event. If your country offers tax-advantaged accounts for retirement or long-term investing, use them according to the rules, especially if there's a match. If an account locks money until a certain age, keep your sleep fund outside it and invest only what you can leave alone. If you're choosing between accounts, prioritize the ones with matches and the ones that reduce today's tax or tomorrow's tax according to your situation. The goal is simple. More of the return stays yours, not because you outsmarted markets, but because you stopped leaking. Rebalancing is the calmest maintenance task you'll ever do. Twice a year, or when your allocation drifts beyond 5 points, move money from what grew faster into what grew slower to restore your target mix. Do it on dates you can remember. The ritual feels like nothing, which is how you know it's working. Rebalancing enforces the healthy behavior of trimming strength and adding to weakness without drama. It also gives you something productive to do during boring years and stormy ones alike. Generosity, strangely, is part of investing confidence. A small, scheduled percentage that leaves your account for people and causes you care about makes it easier to stop buying identity at checkout screens. When your values are funded on purpose, your spending gets less performative and your plans become easier to keep. This is not moralizing, it's human engineering for a nervous system that wants meaning as much as money. Beware the 3 sirens that most often smash beginner confidence: leverage, hot tips, and clarity. Leverage promises speed until it demands perfection. Hot tips make you anxious because you outsource the why to someone else and panic when their story changes. Clarity is a myth. By the time things feel clear, prices have already moved. Replace all 3 with the humble plan you can execute while human: automatic contributions, low costs, patient horizons, and a boring portfolio you can hold. If you share a household, stop outsourcing your plan to telepathy. Hold a 10-minute weekly logistics check-in. What happened last week, what matters this week, any irregulars coming, and one small joy will fund on purpose. Set an ask-first threshold for big purchases and keep 2 small no-questions allowances so adults can have toys without court. This little ritual saves you more money than a drawer full of coupons because it converts arguments into calendars. Calendars are cheaper than fights. You will wobble. Everyone does. You will miss a transfer during a chaotic week or feel the urge to sell during a scary headline. The rule that rescues everything is never miss twice. If a transfer fails, resume on payday. If you overspend a week, trim the next. If the buffer takes a hit for a real emergency, refill it before anything else. If markets scream, obey your policy and go for a walk. Recovery beats perfection because perfection isn't available. Rhythm is. Let's finish with the ceremony you can complete tonight to begin investing with confidence. Rename one account Staging, Rails, and another Sleep Fund. Schedule automatic contributions on payday into a global stock fund and a bond fund in the proportions you can hold. Schedule your bill drafts for week 1 and your sinking funds for the day after payday. Set a recurring Friday refill for your weekly card so drift can't outrun your plan. Write your one-page policy in words you can teach a friend, including your rebalancing dates and your rule for employer stock. Move your phone charger out of the bedroom and write down 2 10-minute dinners, stock their ingredients. Put a whiteboard on your freezer and write 3 things you will eat this week. On your calendar, create 2 all-day events 6 months apart labeled Rebalance, 5-Point Band. Then, close the apps and let Friday arrive. The signal that you are investing with confidence will feel like nothing. The transfer happens, the bills draft, the sinks drip, the weekly card refills. You feel almost nothing because the plan already knows what to do. In a few months, the numbers will be bigger. More important, your week will be cheaper to run and calmer. Your portfolio will stop feeling like a mood ring and start feeling like a machine. You'll still wobble, and then you'll repair quickly, never miss twice, and the slope will resume. People will say you're lucky or unusually disciplined. You'll know better. You built a week that turns paychecks into ownership without asking permission from your feelings. That, for beginners and experts alike, is what investing with confidence really is.